There's a special place that I like to go with nobody's home to increase my understanding. My daily bread that amazing. I'm talking about precepts. Precept on precept, line upon line, Precept on precept, line upon line,
babe. I can't keep explaining, can't study for you. I can't think of nothing.
A hate group. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. Israel United in Christ is a nonviolent, Bible-based movement. We do not advocate or condone any acts of violence against any race, ethnicity, or gender. We advise that if anyone hears or knows of any plot to cause harm to anyone or to break the laws of the land, you must contact the proper authorities to bring awareness to any possible threat, as stated in Leviticus chapter 5, verse 1.
Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ bless. Welcome to another edition of Precept Upon Precept. We are your host. I'm Captain Shum.
Captain Matt.
Officer Micah.
Officer Thomas.
Hey, look, and before we get to the Watchman report, I want all of you, do you have that about Bishop's class? So look, our Sabbath class, the main class, the heavy hitter himself, Bishop Nathaniel's class, was removed in the classroom 1, right?
Yes, sir.
But we got it back up, y'all. And it was Bishop's class, all 5, but this was an excellent class. And we need all of you right now, or when you're going to see this post, go ahead and share that, comment, and watch the video, all right? Do all that tech stuff. Did we put it up there? And that's on what page again? In the classroom 2. Also, I just breaking an announcement real quick. The lead tech guy, I don't know if we can turn it around, but he's right there. So I asked him about his hairstyle today. He had a bunch of twisties, and we found out that he's young. He's actually going bald and trying to create his locks so he can, but it's not working for him. So I just wanted to shout him out. He's back there smirking back. He's actually young. He'll be bald before he's 40. Maybe, which happened to me. So it is what it is. Save money and shampoo. All praise to the Most High. So we're going to go to the first segment of the show, which is, do we do the thumbnail first? Watchman. Watchman report with Officer Micah. Take it away.
You are now flying.
Oh!
We don't back down. Bring it out on the air right now. Step up to the count. We ain't backing down. Step up to the count.
Shalom, Israel, Most High in Christ bless, Most High in Christ bless. Good evening. Let's go ahead and get into the articles. A lot going on. U.S. judge clears the way for tens of thousands of federal workers to take Trump buyout. So, yeah, he put it out there, and they're going to take it. Trump signs a plan for reciprocal tariffs on U.S. trading partners, ushering in economic uncertainty. Pray for our people out there on the West Coast. Evacuations issued in Southern California as heavy rain brings threat of debris flows in areas scarred by wildfires. So they got wildfires and now they getting flooded. Last but not least, Trump administration considering using defense funding to ramp up deportation. That's the dumbest thing that I've heard was Issachar. Happy that Issachar is being deported. And this concludes the Watchman Report.
You are now flying.
Hey, look, I want to apologize to our tech guy, Officer Akim. He actually is a great guy, national officer, and I would be doing him a disservice if I did not. I made a joke. Can you get up behind the camera and come over here because I want to. How dare I got to do this because I don't really care. I'm almost 50 years old. So yeah, I just wanted to show everyone what's going on. So real quick, so change the camera real
Area,
quick.
right?
I don't care. So this, put your head down. So this is what I'm talking about. But the thing is, he's 20 to 30 or something, and he's going bald. So he thought by growing this, I just screamed at him earlier. Well, really, it's a lot of baldness going on here right here. Right? I got the same thing going right there. Right? So I'm sorry I didn't have the mic. So I would just point out that. So I thought this was a new young Generation X style, but then what he's trying to do is mask the fact that he's balding back here. So just wanted to shout him out because no one gets to see him behind the scenes. All praise to the most. Give him a round of applause, everybody. Oh, great job. All right, switch.
Hey, he's a bald greensman, though, Cap.
Yes. He is in the green, and I don't think, listen, the scriptures say, let every man tell truth to his neighbor. How dare I have an evil thought? I had to repent and say it out loud. So, all praises. Put up the thumbnail for tonight's show. All right?
All right.
Officer Thomas.
Trump's peace and prosperity will lead to Babylon's death and destruction. All right. So right here in the top right corner, we got Trump blaming the DEI. All right, playing the blame game. In the middle, trade wars heat up. You know, he got the tariffs going on with China, Canada, and Mexico. And then you see on the left, he's deporting Northern Kingdom. Got the ICE in the background. All right, that's what the thumbnail is looking. And also, the plane at the bottom. I forgot about the plane. Didn't he blame some black people on the plane crashing?
Yes.
So that's what we got going on right now. Trump's peace and prosperity will lead to Babylon's death and destruction.
Hey, and also leave the thumbnail up, please. So when I hope that everyone can read between the lines, because when it says Trump's peace and prosperity, that is for white America, meaning he's getting all the illegal, horrible terrorist killers out of all, like every Mexican that's in here illegally is an MS-13. Every Mexican is a killer. And that's the impression that is given off when many, and listen, this was their land first. Many of our brothers from the tribe of Issachar and other tribes that are here, they're illegal. We should keep the laws. They should try to get in the right way. But the horrible thing about it is that, again, this is their land, and many of them are hardworking people that do many of the jobs that most of us wouldn't do. So the prosperity that Trump's trying to create is to keep his voting base, which is white America, happy. And you Negroes that voted for him, you're going to find out the hard way. So all praise the Lord. Let's do this. So last week, y'all, today's Thursday, so this last Sabbath, we had a very successful blitz. We blitzed the Super Bowl in the Greekest fashions on Saturday, and the big event was Sunday. And we had brothers that came in from all over the country. Listen, you ask for numbers. There's so many, we can't even count. Don't ask me to count. There's so many of us. We passed out so many flyers, and we made a difference. So we just want to kind of give you a rundown of what we did. We had our mighty leadership down from all over, and most of the brothers did turn and burn. It was a great event, and Mosai gave us some really good weather. So we're going to play a bunch of stuff, and you brothers can, because all the men that are on the show tonight played a major part of this blitz, and some more behind the scenes, and actually everyone was actually on the forefront and behind the scenes. So let's just run them. Pause real quick. So I want to point something out. It's kind of an internal thing, but I must. So off to the back where you see the do not enter sign. So that is a separate line.
Bring it out, Cap.
That's the fat line.
Yes.
Lard asses are not allowed to be in the formation because they're fat.
Well.
Kind of like, is any lard? John the tech guy is in there. Kind of, those are John's people.
Wow.
John is actually a great guy. media guy behind the scenes, actually lost about 30 pounds, still fat. But John, I think Aces people, Aces in the green. Yeah, okay. Yeah, he's almost a Sprite can.
Yeah.
Like he's almost,
Lemon lime.
Shout out to the fat lard asses. If you notice over there, the concrete is a little bit stronger on that side of the street. Again, and lard asses got to earn the right to march in our formations. All right. So hey, let's start it again because this is a white Christian that happened to share this.
Yes, he is. He works at Dillard University, HBCU. He works there, and he saw us, and he spoke to our deacon,
Right.
and he recorded us, and that thing got over 2 million views, I believe now.
Over 2 million. So this is less than a week with 2 million views, and I think this is a very short clip, and this is probably the worst part of the march. It's when we're making a corner. And we didn't even start really getting into it. So he recorded probably the worst part of it. Okay, play. It's not step in the middle one. Look at him. He skipped step. He did it. He did it. He got back in. So one of the challenges of that is where we're going up and down curbs, potholes, and things like that. But you can see that honestly was probably the worst part of the march, and it's going viral already. So you brothers, please jump in, things that you see, because I don't know anything about this guy.
Oh, that's Petty Lamar. So everybody knows that among the negrosity that has plagued America, we also now have the biggest distraction of them all, which is Kendrick Lamar versus the light-skinned guy, Drake. And Drake is going back and forth with him in a diss track. Kendrick Lamar's diss record just so happened to pop off. And he's gotten 5 Grammys from it and won a lot of awards. And he was able to host a halftime Super Bowl show. So a lot of everything that he's talking about in this song is going against Drake, who is a real Jew living like a fake one. Kendrick Lamar he knows about us. I mean, y'all heard his last album, Damn, when he said, I'm not an Israelite. I mean, I'm an Israelite, don't call me black no more. He was cursed, Deuteronomy 28. His cousin Carl taught him the truth. So, everybody's talking about this show because of how blatantly disrespectful he was towards another black man, because, black people love drama.
Talking about the Super Bowl halftime show, but there was something else going on in New Orleans that day.
Oh, look, man, we in New Orleans. The year 2025 Super Bowl is about to go down. The army of God is showing up once again, man. Hey, man, look, we pray and hope y'all repent, keep the commandments of God, man. Look, that's all I got to say. We here.
Southern King with a holy grail, quench the thirst with the holy water. Pull a script on a scalpel, put the doctrine in the coffin. No, I keep the laws on me, ain't even got a question how I'm walking. You know what it is.
Hey, pause real quick. When you look at the face of Esau, right? When you read in the scriptures, Esau is so-called white men today is Esau or Edom or Idumea. They are very worried when they see us together. They are also very impressed. And you could see it on their faces because, and this is the importance of when we march, we have to sing at the same time with the same power. We have to stay in step. Our legs must swing the same way. Our arm swing must be the same. Our head must be up, our chest up. When you do that and you all look straight ahead, it sends a message of we are together, moving as one. That is a type of unity that black people have never seen in our country ever. Now, arguably, the Buffalo Soldiers had it, but they were under Caucasian leadership. We have it to the next level under Israelite or black leadership. That's right. And so that's the big difference. And they know that there ain't nothing Caucasian operated about us. Okay, so, and the world is seeing it. And here's an example of a Philadelphia Eagles fan saying, okay, whoa. And that look says, and we get that from everywhere we go. And we're not looking for no problems from anybody. And they know that we don't need their acceptance. And that's what scares them. We don't ask for it. We don't need it. We don't want their acceptance. We want our people to accept God. That's what our hope is. So,
yeah. And I like the fact that we did this blitz because, like they put out there the first part of the video, you know, the halftime show was showing a division between black people. You know, one black person dissing another black person. And right outside of that, it was a unity show of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, all being of one mind, one accord, same step, same song, same spirit, same gospel. And we was all teaching unified. That's why on a lot of the video, because Tyrese reposted this, he got 20 million followers.
Tyrese from Baby Boy.
Yeah.
The Tyrese.
Yes, he reposted this the thing that the Edomite guy shared. He reposted it on his page to his 20 million followers. So, and every comment was positive. Right. And most of them was saying, yeah, they don't have their faces covered. Right. Their faces are uncovered. They're walking in unity. I'm so proud to see this. I wish I was there. All of these comments is being said. You understand? And they know that what we're doing is for black people.
Hey, Captain Matt, you know what, Sebi? I shared something on the other chat earlier today before we came to the show. I did not know we have a brother with us. And I'm bigging him up. He doesn't look it. The brother is 81 years old, in absolute upright condition, can move around and everything. I thought he may have been 70, which is impressive in itself. The man's 81 years old. He was out there. And what you're going to find is that you got brothers that are 81 out there with 20-year-old men. Yep. We've got 4 generations of men all believing the same thing. And just because he's 81, he don't got to be in charge. Okay? Everybody will fall in line. Like, for example, we had teams out there that was their responsibility was just dealing with making sure we didn't leave trash and water bottles. That was their whole job. And they did a phenomenal job of making sure that they cleaned up after our team. Yep. We have so much organization in IUIC. This is why we get a lot of hate, because each man in his office does it to all his strength. And because when you have that mind, there's nothing you can't do. And we also teach with power, authority. We're not asking for permission. We're going to take the kingdom. When you roll with that spirit, I understand why a lot of, and shout out to the camps that are keeping God's commandments and not slander. Shout out to y'all, because the brothers that do that, I understand why you would hate us, because when you see something that you should be, and you can't get there, what do niggas do? Stop. I gotta cast that down because I want to be it. I know I can't. So that's what you're dealing with, and they did that. And then when you read the book of Acts, there was a certain group of lewd fellows that did the same thing, and they back today. Yep. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm talking. Keep going.
Put the doctor to the cough. No, I keep the laws on me. You ain't even got a question how I'm walking. You know what it is. Nobody on the way.
Oh, speaking of comments, Captain Matt mentioned during men's conference we had I'm not gonna put too many details out there. Basically, we have an initiative to get all of our men into a certain standard of health and not to be a fat, blubbery slob. And we had some comments that I saw that they were like, and all of them look fit, which that is actually a lie, but many, many, many more of us than at men's conference. So in less than 6 months, many of our men have been actively working to get fit. And by the next men's conference, which, whenever we have it, we hope to have almost all of our men in a fit status. And that's the goal, because our leadership has a vision for moving the body forward. You cannot address the problem of obesity among black women until the men fix themselves first. And this is what we're doing. And we're not going to be hypocrites when we correct our sisters. So we had people that we didn't know commenting saying, wow, and all of them don't have masks on.
Yep.
And they also look fit. So we're seeing the change. We're seeing the change that we want to see, and we're making it happen.
Hey, because, Kat, remember, last year, around this same time, we was getting comments on our videos like, yo, these dudes is fat as hell.
Yeah, like Barney.
Yeah, like they was saying that. They was like, yo, you know, the word is powerful, but why is he obese? You know, what they're saying is true, but why is he so fat? He looks unhealthy. Don't y'all teach on health? Don't y'all teach on diet? These were the comments that was coming in. And to have the total opposite come now, it shows that the initiative is working.
And we just can't wait till some of our straggling brothers, Lord Rhino, Captain Severus, get back into the battle and get to that color that is green. Play on.
When I prophesied immortals in the pit, ruling power in my veins, melanin reflected, and they envy us, made in the image of from well perfected. The feeling like Jeremiah when I walk in the building. Know that my seal gonna seal you. We on the block with the word of the Lord, meaning we standing on business. Up 10 toes down, stay up to the ceiling. Time to level up, watch the way you reach.
And we're just taking you down what happened over the Sabbath and a Sunday. They can hear.
Today is the height of Greekish fashion. So, what are we seeing out here? We seeing all matters of abomination, drunkenness, wickedness, lasciviousness, fornication. So what is the prophet's job to do? He come out here to tear down the lies and bring our people back unto the fold.
Hey, shout out to Captain Hoshai, man. Captain Hoshai, the war captain, we call him in the spirit. That the whole idea about the flags for the 12 tribes, that was Cap. That was Cap. And I think it adds an element of respect and dignity to our formation. So definitely want to acknowledge Captain Hoshai. Play on. Hey, you know what I like about Deke, man? Deacon Abiel? Deacon Abiel, when you saw him at the front, that's a man, that's a soldier right there. And when we was all singing, if you look at the men, Deacon is singing with him. He's in the spirit that all of us together, and he leads at the front. That's what leaders do. We have a great group of men to follow, and that's a wonderful thing. If you look at the men's faces, they're not looking to the left. They're not looking to the right. They're sons of God, and the position is look straight ahead, being attentive to what's in front of you, not distracted by the things that are to the left or the right of you. That's the way soldiers move. That's why we are the army of the living God. And when we go to these blitzes, black people don't know what to say because they're like, yo, they're not looking around. They all look serious. They're looking at. They don't look. They look like. They just look serious. And that right there, even to people that don't understand our message, they understand what they see. Mm-hmm. And this is why we're showing you this, because we are raising up in these last days, and we're doing works. And the Lord is going to he's going to continue to use IUIC to call his people home. And so don't, you brothers that came to this blitz and you brothers that are maybe watch the Precept upon Precept, or watch the bishop's class. Listen, it's time to come home. Okay, come around the body. I had a couple calls this week. Brothers and sisters were very moved by what they saw, because not since the Black Panther movement, which comparatively speaking, we love them brothers of the Black Panthers, but at the time did what they can do, but they're not a fraction of what we're doing right now. And we give honor to them, and they tried to help black people at that time.
Yep.
But the Lord is using us to do some big things.
Prophets are back, Cap.
Prophets are back. Prophets are back. And that's why we got to get in shape, get healthy, get in order so that we can travel throughout the whole world and, of course, domestically. We got a couple more? All right. Thank you. Shout out to all the editors, man. Shout out real quick. Let me show you the level of organization. We had, and I'm just, I can't even, we need shows and shows to talk about each department. We have a whole tech team that deals with film and camera editing, real time, on the fly. It's like a true professional organization behind the scenes, and you will never know because they do all the work. They're not looking to get credit up front. They do the work quietly, calmly, and professionally behind the scenes. And this has all been done in a couple of days, by the way.
Hey, Cap.
To
put more fear out there to the Edomites that are listening. We know y'all listening. We got kids doing edits too.
Yeah.
A lot of the children, the teenagers, are doing some of these edits. So yeah, they're learning as well.
And the level of, we actually had one, I feel sorry for Ms. Mark Reserve. What's the guy's, I forget the guy that.
No class?
There's a guy, what he does is he follows our Arizona camp around. He's actually stalking them, which is, it's like, he's got an angry woman complex. He's a bitter. Right. I forgot his name. It's not, but anyways, this guy, was blown away by the level of our editing. And what a lot of other people are saying is like, do our men professionally go to cinematography school and all that? Well, we're the Israelites, and these guys take professional development classes, and the Lord gives them the understanding and moves their spirit to take this class and do this, all why? To better this truth, to get a better quality. And you can see our production is top grade. So that's what happens when you have a team or an organized nation that actually cares about each and every office that they partake in. And I got to mention that.
Ticks faster than it ever has before. We find ourselves yet in another distraction. Greek fashions, Super Bowl, New Orleans, but from here on out, you will never be able to say you weren't warned.
Real quick, that was the mighty Deacon Malachi. Y'all know him. We see him every Sabbath usually, and we see him on Patient Saints Radio. The main host, him and Captain Shemaiah and the captains in Atlanta. He came through. Deke came through and blessed us with guidance and leadership. Play on.
You see that Edomite right there? He was talking, right? And he was like, yeah, we're all God's children. And, God loves us all. And, as we were walking by, he said, well, not everybody is God's child. They're not all God's children. Some are children of the devil. The devil has children too. Yeah. So as soon as we walk past, not everybody God's child. But when you're trying to proselytize, everybody's God's child. That spirit, it just... They hate us. That's Ezekiel 35:5. It's in them to hate us. Mm-hmm. That's how we know we're doing something right.
That's right. Christianity doesn't believe their own doctrine.
Nope.
Another one of their ways is the Super Bowl. It's the Greek fashions. That's another way of the oppressor. But I will tell you about the look.
One more, y'all. One more. And we're going to get right to the show after this. John's a lord.
Yeah, we waking them up, ain't no hitting the snooze. Pick apart your religion, I know that you choose. Always with the devil, I rose to a level. They counting me out while I'm counting the cost. And I'm cold like the frost on your window and dead of the winter. I know that they send the pretenders, inspired our members, but we never catch none of the shots that you sent us in. We got a ruthless method just to check it. Sayonara, goodbye, getting disrespectful. Good God, no card for the incidentals. The damage you cause must be paid with your head. They raging war in the land, but that land is the land of the saints. God chosen people is something you ain't. Know we the tribes, and now they won't file a complaint. Confident we the saints, so the burden of proof is on you and your crew. Who are you really? I give you a clue. Who changed the face of the judges? Who live by the
Shout
sword
out
and
to
they-
Cuts from the Street. We have a department that gets a different perspective. It's a little bit, where they got the black shirts on, and they basically are really being hosts, and they're interviewing people on the street, getting their feedback to see how they air to the street. And you should check some of the videos that when we get the finished product, we've got some newscasters out there that are getting the street interviews from the people. So play on.
The sword and they weapon. Who telling the lies about Jesus? Who changed his appearance and features? What country adopted the eagle? That nation, the eagle.
Just taught the Bible in a whole different language. These niggas outside town getting dangerous. Never been to London, but I got me a cane. Heavyweight, big dog, got it. Try it if you want. Bible in a holster, fire in a holster.
So all praise to the Most High. So we hope that y'all were motivated, and Lord's will, the next events in New Orleans, Israel United Christ will be there, crying aloud and educating and informing our people to return to the Most High. So put the thumbnail back up real quick, and we're going to start with the show. We're not going to have not to get to everything tonight, but Donald Trump. Read that one more time, Thomas.
Trump's peace and prosperity will lead to Babylon's death and destruction.
Yes, Trump's peace and prosperity for who? For the Negro in Detroit? No, sir. For Esau. Now, get me one of the first. Actually, we're not going to go to number one. I want you to get me. Is it 4? No, I'm sorry. No, I'm going to jump to. No, let's start with 1. I'm going to make it easy. Start with 1. So, one of the first things that Donald Trump said he would. By the way, y'all should check out Al Jazeera English. It's a very good source. One of the first things he talked about, Donald Trump, was, I'm going to stop the war. The war should never happen. Biden in the war. He just goes and he just cusses Biden out over every little thing. But this is what he's talking about, peace between Ukraine and Russia. It's an article. I believe it may have a video as well. Okay. I think the video says, Thomas doesn't have to read it. I think the video literally says, the article literally just says the words.
He can bring it to an end, pushing both sides to start peace talks.
I think they have to make peace. Their people are being killed, and I think they have to make peace. I said that was not a good war to go into.
When you look at the two countries that are fighting, which is Russia versus Ukraine, if you notice, he wants peace when it comes to these two. These are two Caucasian countries where the masses are dying. Mm-hmm. Why doesn't he want? What about peace in Gaza and the fact that the one-sidedness of the treaty breaking and things like that? What about the Sudan? What about all these other countries where their jackals, the U.S. jackals, set up and then they create hostile governments and then where's the peace for that? But where his effort is to create peace when it has to do with whites. So he's going to say it. There's a lot of soldiers dying. Soldiers. He's concerned because the soldiers that are dying are white soldiers. Yep. Let's just call it what it is, okay? Somebody had something to say. You got something to say? Bring it out.
Hey, I'll bring it out. What about when the Ukraine was kicking back all the black people and not letting them escape when the war first popped off? How about that?
They wouldn't let them on the trains.
Nope.
Yep.
And that was video, which is why they want to get rid of TikTok. Because the media coverage wasn't covering it. It was regular people with phones recording everything that was going on. They put the stuff on social media. So now we see what goes on behind the scenes. We see through the Edomite media. You understand? We saw all of them kicking off black students that were from Africa.
Right.
You understand? We watched it happen. We don't care about none of that stuff. We want these things to happen because it's Bible prophecy. And Bible prophecy has to come to pass, which means our enemies got to be destroyed for us to be saved. It is what it is.
Right. And that's the name of the show. Trump's peace and prosperity will bring Babylon's death and destruction, because no matter what Trump tries to do to make America great again, and he will succeed in certain things, like we got to close the border, we got to get these evil Mexican mafia gang killers, rapists out of our country, and we got to bring back some of the money, got to cut this budget, do this. All these things are going to make it easier and better for white America for a time. But nothing's changed when we get in later into Douglas McGregor. This same exact agenda when it comes to Israel, every single administration since Jimmy Carter and before has been pro-Israeli. Okay? So nothing's changed. Okay? So play on.
Make peace. That's what I think.
He campaigned saying he could negotiate a peace deal, his new defense secretary, giving NATO allies an idea of what that may look like.
We want, like you, a sovereign and prosperous Ukraine. But we must start by recognizing that returning to Ukraine's pre-2014 borders is an unrealistic objective.
So what he's saying is this, and those of you who've been tracking, before 2014, Ukraine was larger than it is, and Russia annexed part of the eastern part of Ukraine. Now, Russia's got the upper hand and the advantage. The United States has no place to negotiate. So Russia's taking it back. And the U.S. is, the way Pete just said that was, look, it is what it is. Russia kicked your ass, and this is what you got to accept. That's exactly what he's saying. Later on in the show, we're going to touch on that a little bit more with Colonel Douglas McGregor. Play on.
Facing this illusionary goal will only prolong the war and cause more suffering.
Trump spoke to Vladimir Putin for 90 minutes on Wednesday. He told social media, "We both agreed we want to stop the millions of deaths taking place in the war with Russia-Ukraine. President
mind you,
Putin even used my
the entire 4 years of Joe Biden's administration, they didn't even talk to Russia. Once that, actually, I think they had a preliminary conversation. But once that, when the war's been going on for 3 complete years, they've had no interactions at all with Russia. So this is the first step towards the so-called peace and prosperity. Trump is going to fix this. He's fixing everything. I'm going to make this deal. He's going to make this deal. And to a lot of these Negroes here, that things are going to get better, you're going to be deceived.
Yep.
Okay? Play on.
Strong campaign motto of common sense. We both believe very strongly in it. We agreed to work together very closely, including visiting each other's nations. We've also agreed to have our respective teams start negotiations immediately. Vice President J.D. Vance and new Secretary of State Marco Rubio will lead the U.S. team. They'll be joined by the CIA Director and the National Security Advisor. They'll meet Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at the Munich Security Conference on Friday. During the election
so this Friday is going to be Munich, Germany. They're having a conference where they're going to meet with Zelensky, and Trump's new crew is going to be meeting and sitting down with them. Play on. Is there any more on this? Because I want to move on. Let's move on. Bring it out.
What our people don't understand, can you look up the minerals that Ukraine has?
Yeah.
Trump's a businessman. People think that, Micah too said they covet fields and they take it by violence. Trump don't give a damn about the people dying over there. He don't. I'll tell you straight like that. If he knows he gets back in good with Ukraine, he done already tanked that whole thing with China. Look, I ain't doing business with them. So now, those resources, you get it?
So, and also, Michael, hold that thought. But remember, in the U.S., you can have land and not own the mineral rights to your own land. Donald, and let me tell you something, Ukraine is not just with the minerals under the earth, it's some of the best farmland on the entire planet Earth. So you definitely own to something.
There it is right there. That's the one?
Rubio expects deal on Ukraine minerals to pay back U.S. tax.
That's all we need right there. They play the long game. They play to Captain's point. They know that land is going to pay them back. Remember, we did shows on the farming, how they were dumping the manure and they were dumping all the produce and stuff like that. Trump playing the long game.
And let me tell you something. With Trump is that, and here's the point. If I have a mine, if I have a mine and I have that is collateral. You can then take loans on that money. And this is what they do. This is how business. Donald Trump is a multi-billionaire, and much of it is tied up in a portfolio of real estate and businesses. And then they take loans on their money, and they do not, in their investment, and they don't pay capital gains or taxes on that. That's what Robert Kiyosaki and a lot of these big-time businessmen do. They don't take a paycheck. They borrow on their investments. Okay, it's a loophole. Okay. When Trump was campaigning, he says, I know what they get. He said, I know what they're doing. I do the same thing. But he wasn't saying anything illegal, but Trump blows their spot up, and he don't need their money.
It's called legal unethical. That's what it's called. It's legal, but it's unethical. They, morally, they know that they're cheating the system, but it's legal to do so. So they already know. That's why, as a businessman, he's gonna come in, he's gonna cut costs.
Yep.
He's gonna run America like the business that it was made to be.
Hey, real quick, speaking of that, Cap just mentioned that cut costs. Let's go right to number 3 and then 4. Restructuring federal government. Now, recently, there are 200,000 targeted federal employees that work, not USAID, that's next, but I believe 72,000 of them accepted the 8-month retirement early package, meaning they get paid out till September and then they are forced to retire. Others were met with a termination notice. You got to imagine somebody makes the average government worker probably makes 50,000 or more. If you annually take and you cut 72,000 jobs and multiply that by $50,000, that's what you're saving. We're talking billions upon billions, hundreds of billions of dollars. Do me a favor real quick. Tech guys, this is very interesting. Type in how much would it cost to end a chat GPT or AI to end homelessness in America. Watch the figure. It's in the billions, right? And then the amount of money that we're going to show you that they're saving, the cost to end homelessness. So let's go on the high end, right? Go ahead, Thomas.
The cost to end homelessness in the United States could range from $11 billion to $30 billion per year.
Okay. So let's just go on the upper end. $30 billion a year. He's finding billions in spending that shouldn't have been done. Yep. The point is that with the amount of power that the U.S. has, we could get, especially the veterans, we could get everybody homes or at least off the street. People could all eat. We could do a lot with the hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars that we outsource to other countries. So we're going to get into that right now with these next couple things.
U.S. judge clears the way for tens of thousands of federal workers to take Trump buyout.
I got to mention something. A lot of people don't realize this. Donald Trump is the executive of the executive branch of government. However, you have the Congress, the House of Representatives, the Senate, and you also have the judicial branch. Mm-hmm. He has checks and balances on him. So he had to get permission from a federal judge to do what he's about to do. And guess what? A lot of things have fallen in line. He just had RFK Jr. was just made an appointment, and Tulsi Gabbard, I think, she just got 2 very controversial picks. He got them pushed through. Everything that this guy's talking about doing, it's coming to pass. And we're going to show you the reason why it's coming to pass. It got to come to pass. Okay, read.
This February 12th story has been corrected to rectify the date through which salaries will be paid in paragraphs 2 and 10. Tens of thousands of U.S. civil servants were cleared to take a buyout from Donald Trump's administration on Wednesday after a federal judge ruled the unprecedented downsizing effort could proceed. About 75,000 workers have signed up for the buyout, said a spokesperson for the U.S. Office of Personnel Management, equal to 3% of the civilian workforce. Trump's administration has promised to pay their salaries until September 30th without requiring them to work through unions, though unions have warned the offer is not trustworthy.
Hey, real quick, Mr. Thomas. So what I just did is I would say that the average federal employee makes at least $50,000. I could say, we could say that, right? When you multiply 50, this is how much he's going to save annually after the buyout, right? $50,000 annually, right? And it may be more than that. Multiply that by 75,000 of them, right? It's actually 3.75 E9. I don't even know what that means. E9, maybe is that, what is, can someone Google that? Is that 300, is that? It's not,
exponential to 9 zeros. So 3.7.
E9. I think that's $37.5 billion. I may be. So the point is, he's going to be, just by cutting those jobs alone, according to the math, once we get this, is that only 3.7? Is that billion or trillion?
Billion.
No, it's not. It's billion.
It's billion.
So just by cutting those jobs, you're taking a huge chunk out of homelessness just from this one shift of movement. And that's every year. Go, do me a favor, type in how much would it take annually to end poverty or to end hunger in the United States?
Hey, Cap, it just shows the hypocrisy because Elon Musk, he almost has $1 trillion. He could end poverty just alone, just by himself.
Yep.
And still be a billionaire.
Bruh. So how much would it cost to end hunger or, you know what I mean? What's the word I'm looking for?
Poverty?
Poverty or end, I don't know if hunger's the word, but.
Yeah, hunger. Nationally?
Yeah, okay.
Hunger in America costs billions of dollars each year due to health care, lost productivity, and other factors.
Okay. The whole point is that, and Thomas is right, with Musk could end hunger. Bill Gates and a couple of these Edomites, George Soros, could come together and they could do something. The point is that there's not billions. There is over $1 trillion that they anticipate to cut from the budget that is going to help. With $1 trillion, you can not only end hunger, poverty, homelessness. You can work on the infrastructure of the highway systems. You can, and this is what Trump is trying to do, bring back manufacturing jobs, no taxes, no tariffs for companies that come from other lands and build their factories in our country, which then means our citizens get. When I say all that, right, I'm saying it not from the perspective of it's going to help us, but these things are going to happen and it's going to look like it's peace and safety, but all of that is a smokescreen. So a lot of black people are they think that they're part of the white acceptance system, like, yeah, this is us, and they're going to find out that once he gets so-called Mexicans and the northern tribes out and secures the border, there's going to be now a turn to domestic terrorism, and we're going to find out. All right, so is there more on this, or are we done? Okay.
Unions representing federal workers have sued to stop the program and have delayed it for 6 days while U.S. District Judge George O'Toole in Boston considered the issue. But the judge ruled on Wednesday that the unions did not have legal standing to bring the lawsuit and said the issue needed to be tackled in other forums before landing in court. The administration said the program is now closed to new applicants.
So Trump has some power in that executive branch. Is that the end of it? All right, one more before we go to break. one more. If you go to, I think it was, the next one was I want 4. So it's been hitting the news. Y'all all saw this, the USAID. Trump basically shut this down. And this is Marco Rubio. This is, I think, the new Secretary of the State. And this is what's going on with USAID. All over the news this week.
Pause on all foreign aid. We go to USAID, which is a big chunk of foreign aid, $40 billion or so. They're completely uncooperative. They won't tell you what the programs are. They refuse to answer questions. They try to push through payments. Even after the executive order, they were still trying to push money through the system.
Can it be reformed, or does it need to die?
Well, that was always the goal, was to reform it. But now we have rank insubordination. Now we have basically an active effort where their basic attitude is, we don't work for anyone. We work for ourselves. No agency of government can tell us what to do. So the president made me the acting administrator, and we're going to go through the same process at USAID as we're going through now at the State Department. This is not about getting rid of foreign aid. There are things that we do through USAID that we should continue to do. That makes sense. And we'll have to decide, is that better through the State Department, or is that better through something, a reformed USAID? That's the process we're working through. There are things that are happening at USAID.
So, and this is the USAID, which they set up so-called help and aid in other countries. And what the white American wants is, why are we helping all these other countries when we have poverty here? And right here, schools are going to hell, gender fluidity and all this hormone suppressing, all these different things that they have in this country. They're like, Esau's like, we need to get you to fix this for us. And that's what's going on. When Esau stands up, now it's time for them to act. Again, just be mindful. We're not in that number. As much as we'd like to be, these are not the plans that you think they are. So listen, brothers and sisters, we're going to go to break. Actually, Officer Yasa, when he comes back, he's going to have a segment right before break. We're going to surprise y'all with that. With that, we're going to break. We'll see you when we come back. All right, shalom.
Hey, shalom, Israel, Most High in Christ bless. My name is Captain Shem, IUIC New Orleans. Help us to grow. YouTube page, subscribe, like, share, hit the bell notification. And now it's even easier, y'all.
Hey, and also part of New Orleans camp, we got the community cleanups. Cleaning up our neighborhood one at a time.
What y'all waiting for? Subscribe.
What are you waiting for? Subscribe! Have a good vibe. There's so much wrong going on in the world, but somehow we keep it all smile.
Subscribe and follow us on all social media accounts. We got TikTok, we got Twitter, we got Rumble, and YouTube. Make sure y'all follow IUIC New Orleans. Shalom.
Tell me if you feel me, clap your hands up.
Hey, also, we got flyer missions every day and also camp videos. Check us out, IUIC New Orleans.
So remember, go to our YouTube page, subscribe, like, share, and don't forget the QR code. When the QR code comes out, don't forget to take your phone out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Why isn't it done? Shalom, Israel.
Good drink, can't I get just to have a good time? That's what we say.
I got the mighty Deacon Abayel.
Yeah.
What we doing?
We shut Canal Street down. Which camera I'm on? This one? Canal Street is done. Right now they're trying to figure out what is happening. Where did all these black and brown brothers come from? It's the army of God that touched down. We shutting everything down. They thought they were celebrating Super Bowl 2025. But little did they know, the word of God was showing up to take over everything. We're showing our people who we are according to the Bible, that we're the Israelites, and we got to keep God's commandments and faith in His Son. We shutting down any and every so-called fake-ass Christian that try to step up and come against the Israelites. We ain't playing with you. If you don't come with your Bible, shut your daggone mouth, bro. So again, we're here to take over. It's not a secret. We are purposely taking over the street of Canal. Bourbon's next.
All praise the Most High. Hey, one more thing, D.
What's happening?
Now, what do you have to say to the naysayers and to the apologetics that are trying to come against this truth? What you got to say to them?
Fix your face!
Fix your face. We ain't going nowhere.
Shalom, Most High in Christ, but Captain Shem here out of New Orleans, and guess what? We're here at New Orleans Super Bowl 2025. We're casting down Greekish fashion. A lot of our people are following Esau in these Greekish customs and fashions. They're getting drunk, lascivious dressing, adultery, fornication is going to happen. So the prophets of the Lord, we came in marching, okay, in order, structure, kids crying out loud, and guess what? Most of our people, they're not listening.
Ladies and gentlemen, this the King. Let's go. 12 up. Sit down. 12 up. Sit down. Ladies and gentlemen, this the King.
Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ. Blessed Cap Matt here, back again with Kingdom Music. Now, I saw in the chat a couple of y'all was trying to figure out, you know, what was that song that was playing on the promo? Well, we got you covered. This is Solomon the Jew featuring 12 with Snooze.
Yeah, we waking them up, ain't no hitting the snooze. Pick apart your religion, I know that you choose. Always with the devil, I rose to a level. They counting me out while I'm counting the cost. And I'm cold like the frost on your window and dead of the winter. I know that they send the pretenders, inspired our members, but we never catch none of the shots that you sent us. And we got a ruthless method just to check it. Sayonara, goodbye, getting disrespectful. Good guy, no card for the incidentals. The damage you cause must be paid with your head. They raging war in the land, but that land is the land of the saints. God chosen people is something you ain't. Know we the tribes, and now they won't file a complaint. Confident we the saints, so the burden of proof is on you and your crew. Who are you really? I give you a clue. Who changed the face of the judges? Who live by the sword and they weapons? Who telling the lies about Jesus? Who changed his appearance and features? What country adopted the eagle? That nation, the eagle.
Just taught the Bible in a whole different language. These niggas outside town getting dangerous. Never been to London, but I got me a Cambridge. Heavyweight, big dog, got it. Try it if you want. Bible in a holster, fire in a hole. Look at the stroke, 500 though. You not the real guys like I didn't know. Not surprised if you lie, surprised if you don't. K's-R, reject, we net. You stuck, we blessed, we are. Revelation 2 and 9. 3 say that you bowing down. Face the grind, lick dust, fix crime, switch it.
Where my real Jews at? Where the real Jews go? I got swords in the air. We got boots on the floor. Where my real Jews at? Where the real Jews go? Put your swords in the air. Get your boots on the floor.
I know what they saying, I read lips in between lines. Bunch of dead folks, I can see signs. In other words, flee from these times. Gotta put in work in the meantime. ADL, they can get it. APAC, in fact, they can quit it. Slavery, I never will forget it. And with my God, you'll never be acquitted. I know it's offensive, that's why I said it. All gas, no brakes, cause we never unleaded. Cut a dog into pieces like confetti. Get it done like a bride for the wedding. I'm with all the festivities. See them rockers wear glad, no sympathy. Fire rain is supernatural disaster. When these bastards meet the master.
Read a scripture for the listener and his sister. Next break when we paint the picture. Mother missed the father, skipped the left the bitter. Bad taste mixing with the liquor. Whoa, we walked in the trap and that's c'est la vie. And that's courtesy for my enemies. In the block in the eye, come on, Van, I can't eat them, go mark round the clock, they want that for me. But we do what we supposed to. Put in the work while you sit on the sofa. Precepts is colder than no for the code. Student of Christ, I just pray for diploma. We taking over. As it is written, I thought that we told you. Out in the country, then back up the coaster. Look at the signs, it's already over. Priest to the blind on behalf of Jehovah. They want us locked up, man, they want to stain us. Locked down, man, they want the famous. I've gone somewhere more than heinous. Not long till it's more than dangerous, I know. Ain't it a tragedy? My bishop shoot from the hip with 100% of the accuracy. Why they be mad at me? We taking over and busy awaiting and waiting the second return of his majesty.
Hey, so that was Solomon the Jew featuring 12 and a couple of other brothers, man. Look, Original royalty music is going hamburger right now. You know what I'm saying? Thought I was going to say ham, huh? Nope, no pork on my fork. But we are making sure that we getting out that good, righteous music. So go on originalroyalty.com and get the music. All right? Support Israel, support, and also get the merch. The merch, you got to walk around with the OR merch on, with the artist merch on. You understand? Merch is short for merchandise for your, go get it. All right. Shalom. Messiah Christ bless.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's the King. Let's go.
Hey, shalom. Welcome back to Precept Upon Precept. Go ahead, put that thumbnail up real quick, and we're going to get to the second half of the show. I just want to say, it's trades, Trump's peace and prosperity will lead to Babylon's death and destruction. What we're seeing is Donald Trump doing all these deals, okay, getting the criminal element, getting the border closed, okay, deals with Colombia prisons, deals with Mexico, the troops to the border. Now he's got all these different presidents and prime ministers coming in, reciprocal tariffs, so on and so forth. All of this alleged in future prosperity is going to be the destruction of Babylon. So, number 5. I want you to listen when Esau talks. There's so many things that this is USAID. So she's going to USAID. Remember Marco Rubio right before the break said that Trump is cutting down and freezing USAID, and they found billions and billions of dollars in spending that should not have been done. Now here's a reporter going to USAID building, and now she's going to say so many things that if you listen, you hear where the origin came from. Listen to this, y'all.
By USAID's headquarters, and today's the first day that the majority of the employees with USAID were told not to show up to work and placed on administrative leave aside from a select few. So I figured I would break down the drama that's been going on with USAID for you guys on here. I'm Emma with the National News Desk. So here's the deal. The White House is essentially saying they want to cut costs, they want to reduce a bloated federal bureaucracy, and they're starting with USAID. They said that USAID has spent a lot of money on some what they're calling frivolous things. They cited $2 million for gender-affirming care in Guatemala, $1.5 million for DEI initiatives for workplaces in Serbia. There's a long list.
And so what Esau is, you get a guy like Elon Musk, you get these other investigations to find that why are they spending money in Serbia when you got people that are struggling in America? That's what their train of thought is. But I want you to listen to what she's saying behind the scenes, because they're going to these different countries and providing services and giving them money. But why? Listen to what she's saying.
Website. But critics argue that USAID does do a lot of beneficial things for more than 100 countries throughout the world. They do a lot of humanitarian relief. They said that they have educated, hundreds of thousands of children in underprivileged areas. They've also provided anti-corruption training for government officials.
Stop.
And
why would the U.S. have to send out USAID organizations to teach about anti-corruption training? It's because they're the ones that go and teach the corruption. And then now they can have influence there to teach and to indoctrinate their children and steal their resources. It's all a ploy. And the way she says it, she's like, yeah, we teach anti-corruption training. We help provide humanitarian relief. Well, if you allow them to develop their minerals and develop their production of their natural resources, they wouldn't need humanitarian. Like in Africa, they got the most resources out of any continent, but it's one of the poorest continents. Not all Africa's poor. It's because other nations come in and set up manufacturing systems and deprive those natives of that land the wealth that comes from that. Yep. So this is why in Trump, this is why they tried to kill him. Trump is, in his own way, the lesser of the devils, trying to bring some sort of order to help all the good common American folks. And they don't like the fact that he's turning up things, shutting this whole department and freezing. Okay, play on.
We're really just going to have to wait and see the scope of the Trump administration's power when it comes to actually shutting down USAID. I think it was the Congressional Research Service who put out a brief on their take on all of this, and they said that Congress would have to step in if they were actually going to fully shut down. It is fairly quiet around here, but I don't know if it's just normally like that or if it's because the majority of these federal employees were told not to show up today.
Anytime you see something with USAID, it's just like the Catholic Church and the Jesuit priest. Or U.S. Embassy. It's a place where they can set up shop to cause their confusion, to cause their disruption. And then now I've got a solution to the problem that I caused. And that's what the U.S. MO is. Is this the next one? Okay, what is the title of this one? Okay, yes. So this is Donald Trump. If you ever get a chance, if you can, Google Air Force One anatomy. He's on Air Force One right now, and you got to. I was blown away. This ship, this plane is badass. If you type it, U.S. Air Force One in maybe diagram or 3D diagram, but just keep in mind he's giving many of his interviews from the Oval Office in the sky, if you will. Play.
USAID, sir, what is kind of like the message to countries that depend on humanitarian aid distributed through USAID? What is your message to those countries?
The ones that have been, the few that have been legitimate in terms of getting legitimate money will probably put it through the State Department. It'll be handled by Marco Rubio, highly respected man, Secretary of State. There's no reason for USAID, when you look at the politicians that have been in there sucking the blood out of it, when you look at all of the fake deals, I mean, look, all you have to do is get a list of all of the things you can see by the heading. It's fake, it's fraudulent, it's probably kickbacks, where they send the money and then it gets kicked back to the person that sent it. So the ones that are good, and there are not many of them, but the ones that are good, and there are some, will probably have that be handled by Marco Rubio in the State Department.
Will they take on some of the USAID workers?
They could. they could, if they like.
Mr. President, another
Will it still be called USAID, Mr. President, or will it not?
I don't know that it's going to exist. Why would you need it? The State Department can take care of
Do
it.
you think the amount of spending on foreign aid will decrease also, or just the number of employees?
It should decrease, yeah. I hope it decreases.
Yeah, by how much?
When we have $36 trillion in debt, and we're taking care of countries that are very rich and sending aid to countries in some cases that are rich, in some cases they're not rich. But no, it should very much decrease.
Mr. President, another cut.
But it won't be the scams.
So, and they go ahead, Micah.
What they don't understand he's doing, Cap, he's looking at like, hey, look, y'all wasting money. He's a businessman. He said, I gotta control where the money's going. You giving my money to people over here who don't need it. I want my money right here, and I'm gonna put this guy here to make sure that I keep the money that I need right here.
And we got, and that's exactly right. We got one later on with Elon Musk. So some of you have seen Elon Musk came up with his son who was picking his nose on national TV. And Elon Musk can handle himself very well to the media. And he talked about that some of the checks that were going out from, I don't know if it was the IRS or I forget what organization. Someone that was 150 years old was still receiving Social Security. I think that's what it was. Dang. So there's egregious, just clerical errors that's going on that is crazy. Contracts are supposed to be 3 months. They go on for 30 years. And these are things that are happening. And anyways, this is the Air Force One. Play that. Or it's a diagram. There was a video. It shows the armor plate. It's got the communication systems. It can take a nuclear blast from, if it's a certain number of feet in the air, the bottom. It can take a certain caliber round. It's got, it's very, very well protected. He can broadcast from pretty much any altitude. So what we just showed you was Air Force One, and he was taking an interview from the sky. Let's go to the next one.
And so basically, that'll be a hell of a show watching the Angels tear that thing apart out the air.
And that we may see that in our lifetime. So that was number 6. Number 7. Basically, Trump is, yes, this is going back to the federal cuts.
This morning, the window for the more than 2 million federal employees to accept a buyout offer is now closed, as Elon Musk and his Doge team the government's workforce under the direction of President Trump.
Okay, this is it.
Speaking remotely to the world government.
Is this it? Wait a minute.
This morning, the window for the more than 2 million federal employees to accept a buyout offer is now closed, as Elon Musk and his Doge team cut the government's workforce under the direction of President Trump. Speaking remotely to the World Government Summit in Dubai overnight, Musk says he wants to delete entire agencies.
It's kind of like if leaving a weed. If you don't remove the roots of the weed, then it's easy for the weed to grow back.
The Trump administration sending an email to federal employees last
week with the
subject, the fork in the...
Number 9. So what actually today, Prime Minister Modi from India met with Trump about 2 or 3 hours ago. And the term, actually Micah brought out on the Watchman report, that term is called reciprocal. Reciprocal means if you're going to put a 20% tariff upon my imports, my exports going into you, the United States will reciprocally, meaning the exact, we will mirror that. We're going to 20% you 20% up. And the U.S. has allowed their ability to receive income from tariffs. There's no regulation. Trump's like Thomas mentioned earlier, he's a businessman. And look, he's running the country like a business. And part of that is to fix fraudulent and egregiously fraudulent spending.
Hey, what they really doing, Cap, because they know, all of those people that came after Donald Trump before his election, and it was bringing him to court. It was trying to charge him with the January 6th stuff. It's like, well, we know all of y'all secrets. We know that y'all are out here spending money. They had a squirrel counting budget cap. There was a budget to count squirrels in Central Park. They actually had that on the books. That was like $2 or $3 million a year. But somebody had that on the budget, a squirrel counting department. So they go in there and they clean the house. They getting all of the people that's funneling money, there's money laundering, there's got corruption going on. This right here is showing the division of America. America is divided. Like it said in Daniel, it's that clay and that iron. They not melding together. It's not going to be the same. They are pitted one against another. That's going to cause the country as a whole to be weakened. And then when they mess up a lot of people's money, and then they start making other countries mad, and NATO starts, because he going at NATO hard. And NATO starts getting upset. Hey, we going to start seeing prophecies come to pass then. We better get ourselves ready.
So if you can do me a favor, there's a part, because that other video that we didn't get to play, if y'all can look for Elon Musk speaks, or Elon Musk and Doge, Department of Government Oversight, and crazy findings, something like that, because I really wanted to show what Elon had to say. And while you look for that, if you could find, we're going to play this one, yes. What is this, audio?
Additionally, is the highest, just about the highest tariff country. They charge more tariffs than any other country. And, I mean, we'll be talking about that. But, again, whatever they charge us, we're charging them. So it works out very well. It's a beautiful, simple system. And we don't have to worry about, gee, we're charging too much or too little. If you build here, you have no tariffs whatsoever. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think our country is going to be flooded with jobs.
What should consumers expect? Are prices going to go up short-term,
long-term?
Well,
not necessarily. I mean, not necessarily. But I'll tell you what will go up is jobs. The jobs will go up tremendously. We're going to have great jobs.
You know what I like about Trump? If you notice, he hit him 3 times in a row. He said, not necessarily. We're going to have more jobs. And then he's right back to jobs. We're going to have a lot of jobs. And he is just, it is all part of, he gets into people's psyche, even the people that don't like him. And he hits points over and over and over again. And he's controlling the conversation. And I can understand if I was in the world, I would want to vote for this guy. But the reality is that all of this, and we're getting to the culminating part, is that everything he's trying to do, you see these videos, where he's off is that the agenda for Israel, meaning the Israeli government, is the exact same, and it's going to get worse. And that goes back to Jeremiah about the least of the flock shall draw them in. So all of this you're going to bring car plants, you're going to bring jobs, you're going to close the border, you're going to lower taxes, you're going to help the middle class to get more money back in their pockets. All of that being said, and it's not going to stop the destruction from happening. Did you find out what I asked you to look for? Okay. Anything with Elon Musk is not, I mean, it's all over the internet. I thought the one I gave you was probably bad. Oh, gosh. All right. Just play the next one. I mean,
this is something that should have been done many years ago. China did it. I mean, China did it at a level that probably nobody's ever seen before. That's the impact that tariffs have. Again, you know, I say it, and I say it loudly. It's the most beautiful word, but now I say religion, love, and a couple of other things are more beautiful because I got in a lot of problem with the fake news when they said, oh, other things are more important. God is more important, but these are the words. But I would say it's number 4 or 5. To me, it's the most beautiful. And I'll tell you what, I think really reciprocal tariffs, those 2 words, reciprocal makes tariffs really fair.
There'd be no exemptions, right? It would be all auto imports?
Any exemptions, no, because you don't need to. With reciprocal, you don't need to.
So remember that term, reciprocal tariffs, and he just met with Modi, which is the Prime Minister of India. If you could, I really wanted that one with Elon Musk, y'all. Go to number 11, then we're going to jump to McGregor. And if we could find, I'm going to have to find it, but if y'all can all look, Elon Musk came up, and they brought him up there, and he went into he found some things that were, just shut everybody up in the room when it came to the press and the people asking him questions. Let's read this Reuters article.
Thousands fired in U.S. government as Trump, Musk purged federal workers.
So remember, before, 75,000 people took the 8-month buyout package. But there's a whole lot of other people that got fired. And there's a difference. Let's read this.
The U.S. government began firing thousands of people at multiple agencies on Thursday as President Donald Trump and Elon Musk accelerate their purge of America's federal bureaucracy. Union sources and employees familiar with the moves told Reuters. The Department of Veterans Affairs, which provides health care for veterans, said it had let go of more than 1,000 employees who were in their probationary period, while the U.S. Forest Service was set to fire more than 3,000. Termination emails have been sent in the past 48 hours to workers across the government, mostly recently hired employees still on probation, at agencies such as the Department of Education, the Small Business Administration, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and the General Services Administration, which manages many federal buildings.
So it's not just USAID. He's fired from multiple departments throughout the federal government. And this is just the first 45 days of his presidency. You're going to find he's going to cut billions and billions of dollars. And while he's doing this, he's making enemies. Yep. These people on the left, they're all up in arms. One building from the USAID building, they shut and locked the doors. The Congress people were knocking the doors, screaming, and a regular security guy came out and said, "What's your business here?" And they were like, "We can't believe." That's it. What you just showed. So, do me a favor. Get where it says, is it Micah? When it says, and their border is a border of wickedness. Wherever they go, whether it's USAID, U.S. embassies, U.S. military bases, wherever their border extends, it is, I think it's Malachi. Malachi chapter. Yes. Listen to this. Malachi chapter, you can start, I think you started verse 1.
Yes, sir. The book of Malachi chapter 1 and verse 1. The burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, said the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother?
Right. It's talking about Esau. Okay, Esau today is Vladimir Putin, is Donald Trump. Okay, read on.
Said the Lord, yet I loved Jacob.
Right.
And I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste.
So in the New Testament, Paul, okay, who was Saul, name changed to Paul, he understood the prophet Malachi and Zephaniah and all of them. So he was referencing these scriptures here. Read on.
For the dragons of the wilderness, whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places.
And that's what America rebuilt to the next level. So this rebuilding took place. Well, read it again.
Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished.
Yep.
But we will return and build the desolate places.
Okay.
Thus said the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down.
Right, and they did rebuild in the Renaissance, but this final throwing down is going to be what you see here. And later on it talks about the day of the Lord will burn like an oven. So that day has not come yet. Read on.
And they shall call them the border of wickedness.
Wherever the so-called white man extends his USAID, his U.S. embassies, his Christian or Catholic churches, his military bases, everything turns to an immoral. Look at Kuwait. Look at a lot of these Middle Eastern countries that never had any of these things, and now they have. They got prostitution. A lot of military bases where the GI comes, GIs, U.S. GIs are there. They will create whole industries to service those soldiers, sailors, Marines, and Army guys. Okay, and that is what the border of wherever they go, wickedness follows them. And their borders extends throughout all the U.S. to include over 845 listed military bases. This is it right here. This is it.
And also, could you mention some of the things that your team has found, some of the
So real
crazy
quick,
numbers?
So if you've been tracking, DOGE, right? The Department of Government, is it Enforcement?
Efficiency.
Efficiency, thank you. Elon Musk we've mentioned it before, some of you may not know, he has companies like Tesla, SpaceX, and recently the purchase of Twitter and X, I think they call it.
Mm-hmm.
He went through and downsized the hell out of Twitter. And it's running at like a third of the budget or less, and he fired a whole lot of people. What caused Elon to come on board is because when he saw Trump get hit in the ear when he got shot, and he got up, I guess it inspired me to really think it a courageous thing. You know, the point is this: God allowed Elon Musk to put in his spirit to act like this, and God allowed him with his influence of social media and money that he personally donated to help get Donald Trump in office. God allowed the guy to miss and not hit him in his temple. It was a flesh wound to the ear. God allowed Elon Musk to rise up to help push him towards the final. I'm not saying he couldn't run without Musk, but Musk was a major factor. Now Musk is now looking into not just the Department of Education. He's looking at USAID. They're going to look at they expect by next year or the year after, to cut the U.S. military budget in half. In half. Y'all got to understand. God is behind this. Watch what he has found in the first month and a half.
And also, could you mention some of the things that your team has found, some of the crazy numbers, including the woman that walked away with about 30 million,
right,
etc.?
Well, we do find it sort of rather odd that there are quite a few people in the bureaucracy who have ostensibly a salary of a few $100,000, but somehow manage to accrue tens of millions of dollars in net worth while they are in that position, which is, what happened at USAID. We're just curious as to where it came from. Maybe they're very good at investing, in which case we should take their investment advice, perhaps. But just there seems to be mysteriously they get wealthy. We don't know why. Where does it come from? And I think the reality is that they're getting wealthy at the taxpayer expense. That's the honest truth of it.
That's it. Anyway, what he goes on to say is that there was a person that was 150 years old that was still receiving payments, and he makes a joke with either, well, they should have been the Guinness Book of World Record. I don't know why the Guinness Book, they're not doing their job, or it's fraudulent. And what they're finding is massive billions and billions and billions of dollars of fraudulent things like somebody mentioned about counting squirrels, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's many things that they're doing that is just is crazy. And they're signing a lot of checks without actually putting anything in the note field. There's no system to track where the money's going. They're basically writing blank checks, if you will. And what Elon's trying to do is create a system of accountability, checks, and balances. That's what Trump's doing. That's what Mike was saying earlier. That's what Captain Matt was saying. They're trying to catch the corruption.
Yep.
All right. Now this is save the best for last. How much time we got? We almost done? Almost done. Yeah. If you can find some more, Elon talked about a lot of stuff, but we're going to go into Colonel McGregor, and we're going to start at the first two timestamps. This is McGregor, and he's talking about how the USA is going to fall, okay?
Of American-Russian governmental relations.
Well, if you're a Russian and you listen to many of the statements that President Trump has made over the last week or so, you are probably deeply offended, if for no other reason, because President Trump, for reasons that I don't understand, continues to repeat the lies that constitute the narrative that was spun up by the Biden administration about Ukraine. We're back to these outrageous numbers of Russian losses, which are wrong. And we now have independent institutes, foundations all over the West telling us that Russian growth is at 3.9 to 4%, which is exactly what the Russians have claimed. So their economy is not in trouble.
So why is that important? Because this can be a little dry. I get it. Because they do me a favor, type in how many sanctions the U.S. put on Russia. I believe it's over 16,000. So despite the sanctions that were put on Russia from the United States, their economy grew 4%. That's miraculous. That's incredible. Okay? I think GDP, the gross domestic product. Look up how many sanctions were put on Russia in, just say, 2023 by the U.S.
There you go.
Those are new sanctions.
What are the latest sanctions on Russia? Announcing 500 new sanctions against Russia. U.S. President Joe Biden said they would target Russia's war machine. Export restrictions will be imposed on nearly 100 firms or individuals.
Right. So there's 500 new state sanctions. There were thousands and thousands. So all of this, what's happening is Trump is getting, listening to rhetoric and listening to, not rhetoric, he's listening to information that is not accurate, and he's repeating it. And Vladimir Putin's like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Because it's very clear that Russia has actually grown during these sanctions times, during the war, not been hurt. Play on.
They are not desperate, quote unquote, for a deal. And I think conveying the impression that somehow or another the Russians are has offended them. And we may have reached a point where, quite frankly, since we have no leverage over them whatsoever, the Russians are just going to continue to move forward and do whatever they think is appropriate to clean up the battlefield, unquote, and end the war on terms that they find acceptable. And I think there's a high probability that could happen.
I mean, is there any chance whatsoever that Putin would negotiate anything about a demilitarized zone or about NATO? I would think that these are utter non-starters, and if the Trump administration doesn't know that, it's delusional.
Well, I think they are delusional. That's eminently clear from the statements that come out of the White House and also people inside President Trump's inner circle. No, there's no chance. They don't want a demilitarized zone. They don't want a permanent divide between themselves and the rest of Europe. They're not interested in perpetuating these hostilities.
Now, what he said is very important. He said that Russia does not want to divide between them and Europe, right? Keep that in mind. Go to number 11. Because what Trump is trying to do, he's like Officer Mike said earlier, the long game. Look at number 11. Hold this, and number 11, it talks about they want to bring Russia back to the G7, which they just sanctioned them with 16,000, and now they want to bring them back. You have to be tracking these politics to understand, because if you watch the shows, you'll get it. If you listen to Colonel McGregor for the first time, like, what the hell is this guy talking about? You have to really be paying attention to what's going on. So watch this. I think it says read. We almost done, y'all.
Donald Trump calls for Russia to return to G7 as European Defense Minister warns NATO of darkest times since World War II.
And what Trump is also saying is that, NATO is not as important. And basically, Europe, you take care of Ukraine. That's where the position is going to. So now, it used to be called the G8. Now this is what Donald Trump's administration is saying.
Donald Trump has said he would love to have Russia return to the G7 group of advanced economics and that expelling the country was a mistake. Russia had been a member of the club of the industrialized nations, then known as the G8, until it was excluded following its annexation of Ukraine's Cinema region in 2014.
So real quick, hold up, scroll back. The Crimea, right? that was actually before many Russian people lived there. So what happened in 2014, they annexed that back. And this is what all that came from, because why? NATO was getting too close. Russia's like, hold up. These are our people in this land. We taking that back. And all of that could have been fixed diplomatically. And all of that came to fruition for the war because they kept coming. They tried that BS. We did a show on it. They tried to come through Kazakhstan.
Yep.
And Russia launched, they went in and they fought. And they did, it was very, pull up a map of Russia. Kazakhstan's to the south. And they did that. And now they tried to come to the most eastern, western border of Russia, which is through the Ukraine. That's fine. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Is that Crimea right there? Okay. And that's an important peninsula because it helps for naval position on the Black Sea. And if you look at Constantinople, you can get from the Black Sea directly to the Mediterranean Sea. So that's an important strategic location for Russia. And the U.S. was involved in all of that, okay? Look at Ukraine. And to the beginning of the show, Micah talked about the mineral rights. Again, that is, look at the position of that. It is a great position geographically from the Black Sea. Okay, you're right in Europe's backyard. You're close to Germany, Poland, all of that. And this is why the U.S. now, they didn't give $300 billion for nothing. They're going to get something out of it, okay? And Russia's not having none of it. Okay. What does that say? And if you look, and Russia's not stupid, that whole area in the orange that you see, I believe that's what they control now. Yes. And what's so important about that is that's where many Russian-speaking Ukrainians actually live. Mm-hmm. And that right there, that whole area is strategic. Okay, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Was good. Did we get 11 up or 11's done? Okay. All right. Carry on.
I'd love to have them back. I think it was a mistake to throw them out. Look, it's not a question of liking Russia or not liking Russia, the U.S. president said at the White House. He also said that high-level people from Russia would attend the Munich Security Conference on Friday. Russia is going to be there with our people. Ukraine is also invited, the president added.
And that also, give me Job 9:24. That also shows that the U.S., if they were to do the right thing, figuratively speaking, they control everything. Why under the Biden administration, they could have did all of this. Now Trump's like, nope, we're going to be in Munich, Germany. Putin, you're going to be there. Esau runs the whole earth. They run everything about this system. Job 9:24. This is a famous scripture that we've heard a million times, but it's very appropriate.
The book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
Esau, this earth is Esau's, and God allowed it. Read on.
He covered the faces of the judges thereof.
Right.
If not, where and who is he?
Right, and that's why the Most High is going to use the poor of the earth. He's going to use the oppressed. He's going to use the downtrodden. He's going to use the undesirables to raise up and take this kingdom. So all praise to the Most High. Go back to the article, and we're almost done. That was it in the article? All right. There was nothing else. I don't think there was nothing else tonight. No. I had something on. Did we go to McGregor?
Yes.
Go back to McGregor. Just one more time stamp, and then we're done.
Trump's off-the-wall proposal for the United States to purchase and own the Gaza Strip.
I think the best word would be catastrophic. Certainly for the United States, its position in the world, its long-term.
I'm doing too much talk. Did any of y'all hear what he wants? Please, can someone explain? Y'all heard what he wants to do, right?
He wants. I thought they called it. Maybe they ain't paying attention. He wants to purchase the Gaza Strip, and then you say, "Hey, come on back, Russia. After we sanction you, we want to purchase it."
Right.
Do they not understand? People not looking at it from Russia's perspective. Russia has an army. You sanction me. You cut me out. I had to go pretty much get it out the mud, so to speak. Now all of a sudden you want me. I'm not coming back. That's when Trump, he said it before he got elected. Yep. We are so close. We're so close to World War III. I don't think you all know it. Our people don't know it. Me and Cat, we was in a certain, we were watching the McGregor. He was literally saying Russia is built for war. Yep. The U.S. has weakened themselves with this LGBTQ stuff, the transgenderism all throughout the military. Russia was training this whole entire time for war. And now all of a sudden, Donald Trump, smart businessman, he's like, I want them back. Because they may not be the best of friends, but guess what? He knows that they have resources and they have abilities that he needs to strengthen himself.
And what he's failed, and this is why he keeps talking so much ish about Biden. While they did that in the background, you had BRICS formulating a plan that is beginning to unfold. Now you had Indonesia that just made full party. We've covered that in at least 15 shows. So what you're going to find is that, to your point, Officer Micah, Trump is realizing in order to make America great again, it's his last hurrah. You got to kick all this LGBTQ, the DEI, all this crap out. You got to go back to becoming a strong country, so-called strong country again. But all of that is too late. It's all too late. There was one other thing. Play on.
Interests almost everywhere. I mean, the idea that we, disregarding anything remotely associated with international law or what people used to talk about the norms of international behavior, which we treat with complete contempt, contrary to the people that talk about it. I think we destroyed ourselves, particularly in the Islamic world, but not everywhere else is on the same sheet of music. What gives us the right to annex land that is not ours? What gives us the right to drive off the people that live on that land? I mean, I don't care if it's Greenland or Gaza or anywhere else. We have no such right. Now, we do have power. And the signal that President Trump is sending, which is a very dangerous one, is that power legitimates, Judge. That's it. No law, just power. Remember, law means moral restraint. Where's our moral restraint? Non-existent.
Yep. I don't think that Donald Trump...
So, real quick, I want to close out with this scripture. My memory slips me, where it says, his heart is desperately wicked. Esau cannot exercise moral constraint because he's immoral. Like the late, was it Kwame, Soka Carmichael at the time, he said that Martin Luther King Jr. made a fallacious mistake. He said that, and I'm going to get it wrong, he said that, how can you expect a man that doesn't have a conscience to do the right thing? He says something along the line. Esau doesn't have a conscience. So this is why they don't have to uphold themselves and keep any law, because they don't have any moral upholding. It's just typing desperately wicked.
Yeah. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 9. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked.
That's not it. I did say the wrong thing. It's in, well, gosh. That's it. That's it. I told you wrong. Bear with us, y'all. I wanted that Elon Musk whole clip, but and it's not your fault. Play. Read. What are we talking about?
Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him.
And that's the point what Douglas McGregor is making. He said, who are we to go in and annex the strip of Gaza or talk about taking Greenland? It's a people that does not have any moral standard. That's why they can break every law that they write, and any other person that writes a law. They don't have to be upheld to that. Read it again.
Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him.
It never was right. It's never going to be right. And this is why, as much as Trump tries to bring peace and prosperity for America, it doesn't. The damage has been done. The war called Armageddon is going to happen. World War III is going. The bombs, the ICBM, are going to drop. Read on.
But the just shall live by his faith.
And that's why we got to keep the commandments and live by faith, because if we had to live by what we see and live by what's actual, what is tangible in the society, we would have no hope, because we don't have power to fight this man. We don't have power to rise up politically or military. We have no power. So the just, the Israelites, to keep we gotta live by faith. We gotta live by faith. So we gotta have to stop there, y'all. If you get a chance, go watch the rest of this video with Douglas McGregor. I had about 4 more times. This very, very, basically what he said is one more thing. He said that if Donald Trump tries to buy Gaza and redevelop it, right? He says the Egyptian army, which Egypt is directly next to the Gaza Strip, they are already prepared to fight a war with Israel. Not only that, you have Erdogan, which is Turkey, which has the largest drone in all of Europe, the largest drone fleet. They're Islamic. They may not be Arab, but they're Islamic. The whole nation, that's their nation, their national religion is Islam. Then you have Iran. If they try to displace 2 million Gazans, McGregor goes on to say in there, you're going to have a regional war. Yep. And for Trump to say the things he's doing, what we don't understand is we're small-minded. God, like he did with Pharaoh, is allowing Trump to have his heart so hardened for these. He's got advice. Trump, the Palestinians should probably stay there. And then he's listening to Netanyahu. He's getting this like wormwood from the damn Lord of the Rings in his ear. And all of this is coming to pass. His heart's going to be hardened. There's going to be a regional war. And eventually, guess what's going to happen? They're going to try to attack Iran. Russia's going to get involved. And it's going to go down. So, all right, y'all. With that being said, we're going to go to Law-Back Attack. Watch the rest of it. This guy, him and Scott Ritter, it is a little dry. It's hard to watch and timestamp. It takes a long time, but watch them, all right? They tell it like it is, all right? So with that, Law-Back Attack is next.
Yeah, you can tell by my gait that I'm all in. You can tell by my faith that I'm all in. Front line with the truth, I'ma fall in. Even if it's a dead end, going all in. You can tell by the things I'm involved in. I can lose it all for my calling. If I die for the truth, it's a win-win. And do it to the end, going all in. Going all in. Yeah, you can tell by my gait that I'm all in. You can tell by my faith that I'm all in. Front line with the truth, I'ma fall in. Even if it's a dead end, going all in. You can tell by the things I'm involved in. I can lose it all for my calling. If I die for the truth, it's a win-win.
Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High, Christ bless. Thank you for staying with us. It is a late show, and we are all ready. I know I'm ready for bed. Listen, I'm going to tell you something. There's a health revolution going on in IUIC, and it starts with the men. All you brothers that are in the red and yellow, you better hurry up and get to the green. Okay, we're holding men accountable. Now, you might say, well, that's a lot of pressure. 1 year to not be a lard ass? Yeah, well, all you got to do is just apply some basic principles. Read that first scripture.
The Lord hath created medicines out of the earth.
So if you are sick, your body is sick, you need medicine. Should it be from a bottle? Should it be from prescription that you get filled? And you got 2 and 3 and 4. Some people take 10 or more prescriptions. And each one of the medicines has a side effect. So, read it again.
The Lord hath created medicines out of the earth.
Out of what?
Out of the earth.
Read on.
And he that is wise. Will not abhor them.
The wise comes from understanding the scriptures. Listen. Do we make mistakes? Yes, we do. But when you're being shown that you're out of order and you're obese and you're being given all the tools to fix it in a nice, abundant amount of time, and you don't do it, it shows that there's a certain lack of faith that you have, okay? The medicine you need to fix your health is from the ground. It comes in the form of whole foods. That's the first understanding. Now, play the video. This video is, in a nutshell, if we follow, it's the generalization. What he's saying is true. You've got to fix your hormones. Before the food takes effect, you've got, and this is how you do it. Play.
In ketosis, the metabolic rate of that belly fat was 3 times higher than when the people were not in ketosis. Fat tissue has a very low metabolic rate, and then all of a sudden, when the ketones came into them, they started getting much more active and they started burning more energy. And anyone who even fasts for 24 hours, you wake up that next morning, you're in some degree of ketosis. If a person's attempting to shrink their fat cells or lose weight, if the first step is, I'm going to cut my calories, and they don't address their high insulin, they're never going to lose weight in the long run. That's going to make them.
He mentioned about the long run. So what happens is when people try to get eat a lower calorie diet that includes rice, breads, cookies, cakes, and muffins, it is not going to help. But when you have a ketogenic, you don't have to eat keto the rest of your life. When you eat a ketogenic diet, the word keto is short for ketones, which when you get into ketosis, the things that he's saying, it actually advances and speeds up fat loss. Play the whole video from the beginning. Listen, anybody that wants to lose weight, I challenge you. Eat 1 meal a day, cut out all the carbs to almost nothing. The only thing you're going to eat is vegetable, meat, eggs, and if you have any fruit, it's just berries. And do that 1 time a day. Outside of that, drink water, black coffee, tea. You can do salt in your tea or water. Okay, if you do that and you eat a good-sized meal with this Sirach 38 verse 4 is the medicines from the ground, you will get metabolically healthy because you're going to be in ketosis and you will lose fat at a better, more proficient way. You will absolutely do it. And we've seen dozens and dozens, almost hundreds of men do that amongst us. Shrink before your eyes and keep the weight off. This is the key. You got to cut the goddamn carbs out for the short term. What I mean by short term is if you need to lose 100 pounds, it might take you 6 to 8 months. 6 to 8 months is a short term. Then after you lose all the fat, if you eat in a caloric maintenance, meaning this, I got to talk about this because half the brothers that talk about health, they don't even understand the basics. When you look at calories, right, there's 3 macronutrients. There's a carbohydrate, there's a protein, and there's fats, right? The body does not need carbohydrates to live. What you need is proteins, and you need essential fatty acids that come from healthy fats, and vitamins and minerals. You do not need carbohydrates, but you can't live without. You need protein. So here's the point. Once you lose all the weight, you eat at a calorie maintenance. A calorie deficit is you're eating lower than the calories. A calorie surplus is you're eating too much. If you eat 1 meal a day, healthy keto, you're going to be in ketosis, and because you're eating 1 time a day, even though it's a big meal, you're eating in a significant calorie deficit. Because you're eating more fats, you're going to be in ketosis, which is you don't get the cravings of carbohydrates, which is going to help you to sustain. What he's saying is when you're in ketosis, I keep saying the same thing for years over and it just works. Listen to what he's saying. Play it again, the whole thing from the top, and then we're done.
Found that in ketosis, the metabolic rate of that belly fat was 3 times higher than when the people were not in ketosis. Fat tissue has a very low metabolic rate, and then all of a sudden, when the ketones came into them, they started getting much more active, and they started
Don't camera on me. How do you get into ketosis? You eat a meal like this every day. One day you have a 12-ounce ribeye with 3 eggs and a big giant salad. Another day you might have 4 chicken thighs with the doggone fat on it, and then maybe have a big giant salad and a bowl of raspberries. That's how you get it and stay in ketosis. And if you really want to get it, just eat meat and vegetables like a lot of Jamaicans do. They eat just fish and vegetable. And that's why they have almost no body fat on them. Play on.
more energy. And anyone who even fasts for 24 hours, you wake up that next morning, you're in some degree of ketosis. If a person's attempting to shrink their fat cells or lose weight, if the first step is, I'm going to cut my calories, and they don't address their high insulin, they're never going to lose weight in the long run. That's going to make them very hungry because insulin wants to be storing energy. Let the first step of that journey be, I'm going to lower my insulin, which means I'm going to...
Real quick. And this guy is a very famous host. He has a lot of profound authors. I forget the name. I think he's a South African or Australian, the light-skinned black dude. The point is this: how do you fix your insulin? One of the easiest way to do it is to stop. And I'm going to keep saying the same thing. You have to stop eating so frequently. You got to stop. And this goes out to all y'all, because some of y'all watch this show and you share it. Every one of you people that are obese and overweight, every one of you can fix it if you address your insulin. Stop eating so often and eat less sugars and carbohydrates. If you do that, you're going to heal yourself. Lord willing. Play on.
My carbohydrates. I'm going to stop eating carbohydrates that come from bags and boxes with barcodes. Prioritize protein and don't fear the fat that comes with those proteins. That will be the key to helping insulin come down, all while their metabolic rate is going up. If you want to lose fat, you need to burn fat. You're not going to lose fat if you're always burning glucose. You think about Glucose is stored in your liver and your muscles. Okay? When you do not introduce glucose or very little glucose to your body by eating mostly meats, eggs, and vegetables, what happens is you stay in a ketosis state, and your body will burn the excess calories it's not getting from your fat that's on your body. It's like, it's really, I know it's hard. I know it's hard because people are so used to eating damn carbohydrates, but if you can fix your insulin, you can lose your body fat. Then later on, you can reintroduce carbs again. But for now, you've got to get into ketosis to get into fat burning mode, get the weight down, figure out your maintenance calories, and then you can have carbs again, but just don't eat above maintenance and you won't gain fat again. It's just that simple. Finish it up, we're done. Have hundreds of thousands of calories waiting to be burned in those fat cells. It's just that their chronically elevated insulin is never letting them burn it. And so as the person starts making these changes in their diet to lower insulin, they now can finally start relying on their own fat for fuel.
Finally start relying on your own fat for fuel. So again, brothers and sisters and brothers, stop eating so frequently. Lower your carbohydrates drastically. If you do that, you're going to get healthy because you're going to fix your insulin. After you fix your insulin, you're going to begin to use the stored fat, which fat stored in your body is calories in reserve. That's what it is. And if you don't get into ketosis, it's like having a bunch of candles around your midsection. Ketosis lights the wick. What happens when you light a candle? It begins to burn itself for fuel. The fuel is the flame. It uses the solid wax, and when you have a candle, it goes, what happens when you light a candle? It goes down to nothing. That you're not going to burn your fat properly and effectively unless you do that. So ketosis is not the rest of your life. Eating low carb is not the rest of your life. It's to get you to lose the fat. All right, I'm like a goddamn broken record, but we're going to get all of Israel, we're going to get healthy. It may take another year for the men. We're going to get there. And my repeated, nonstop, just like a broken record, I pray it pays off. So Israel, with that, we say shalom.
Yeah, you can tell by my gait that I'm all in. You can tell by my faith that I'm all in. Front line with the truth, I'ma fall in. Even if it's a dead end, going all in. You can tell by the things I'm involved in. I can lose it all for my call.
To give alms at your local school, drop an envelope in the alms box. To give alms online via PayPal, IUIC.NewOrleans@IsraelUnite.org. To give to the Booster Club via PayPal, IUIC.fundraising@IsraelUnite.org. Scan the QR code. Donate.
All praises, all praises. And if you, Captain Matthew's going to plug that, you see where he's pointing to? Y'all donate to the Booster Club. We got men in this room that have gone on multiple trips to other countries because of brothers and sisters like you at home. We appreciate you. We could not do this without you, and we pray that the Lord continues to give you the spirit to give. So thank you for what you do, Booster Club. Also, Go to In the Classroom 2. Okay, Bishop's class was taken down from the main page. His last From Chaos to Commander-in-Chief. And that class was taken down. It is now back up on IUIC In the Classroom 2. Go ahead and watch that, subscribe, share, and all of that. All right, so we appreciate you logging in tonight. Y'all watch the news. Pay attention to what's going on. Right now, tomorrow and the next day, things are changing in this kingdom. Literally, Trump and his changing things every single day. So y'all watch, and we're not to be worried. Just watch, pray, and observe what's going on around you. Anything else? We good? All right. These guys, thanks for putting up with me. With that, we are your hosts. I'm Captain Shim.
Captain Matt.
Officer Micah.
Officer Thomas.
Hey, with that, brothers and sisters, we say shalom.
Shalom.
There's a special place that I like to go, but nobody's home, to increase my understanding, my daily bread that amazing. I'm talking about precepts, precept on precept, line upon line, precept on precept, line upon line.